The Power Factor Show with Steve and Rick. Episode 30.
Gun Rights Radio Network has the best pro-Second Amendment, pro-gun rights podcast available on the net. The podcasts are absolutely free when subscribing using iTunes or Zune Marketplace. Or if you want, you can just listen from the website. Make sure you visit gunrightsradio.com to subscribe. Podcasting freedom, one episode at a time.
Brought to you by Safariland.
So, welcome back to Power Factor. I'm Steve.
I'm Rick.
I'm Caleb.
And you probably recognize Caleb from the episode that we did on revolver shooting. So, Caleb's actually going to now become a permanent host with the program. Caleb kind of brings a little bit different background than Rick or I do. You shoot USPSA and IDPA, yep. But you also do a lot of other facets of shooting in connection with your GunNuts Media that you have. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background that you didn't mention before in the revolver episode, and people who didn't catch the revolver episode, because not everybody's into revolvers.
That's no reason not to watch the episode.
I do have to say, if you're not into revolvers, you probably should be, because if you can shoot a revolver well, you can shoot anything well. So, open guns, limited guns, whatever. There's some guy out there named, I think his last name is Michalek. Shoots a revolver pretty okay. He's also won, a half dozen 3-gun championships. So, watch the revolver episode.
I have a question for you. You made the statement, if you can shoot a revolver well, you can shoot anything well. How do you do a trap?
With a Taurus Judge.
Yeah, right. I'm hoping that maybe you can give me some tips. So, Anyway, all right, sir.
So I started shooting competition back when I was a cadet at the Coast Guard Academy. I shot NRA Collegiate Bullseye, which is the second most boring shooting sport in the world, only exceeded in boringness by high-power rifle.
Okay, I was going to ask what's number one.
Number one would be, because at least in collegiate pistol, you don't strap yourself into a jacket.
Congratulations,
and lay down on
you
the
just
crowd.
Alienated all the high-power rifle shooters. They're no longer watching the program.
All three of them. And then when I was I moved around the country. I ended up in Indiana, and I'll give a shout out to the Atlanta Conservation Club in Atlanta, Indiana. Got me started shooting IDPA out there, and I shot my first IDPA state match in 2008 or 9. It's been a while now for me anyways, and that got me into Bianchi Cup and Steel Challenge, and then eventually they needed a match director for I-Corps because they wanted to start the revolver matches at the club, and I got voluntold and ended up as the I-Corps match director out there, and so I had to buy a revolver to shoot that, and I got into revolvers from there.
Wow.
Cool. So you actually just recently got back from shooting Bianchi, is that correct?
Yes, I did, and that's a lot of fun. For anyone who's never shot Bianchi Cup, it is probably one of the more difficult action matches out there because it takes a lot of the accuracy elements that you'll see in PPC or bullseye shooting and then puts time pressure on them. So for guys who are used to shooting USPSA or IDPA, it's painfully slow. For guys who are used to shooting bullseye or PPC, it's ridiculously fast. Exactly. For you or for any of us here, the concept of shooting 6 steel plates in 6 seconds is like, well, that's 3.5 more seconds than I actually need. But Bianchi Cup does a lot of things that will mess with your ability to actually see the front sight and really challenges you. You're at a seriously challenging match when Dave Zavini is not the favorite to win production division.
Yeah. It's novel.
So is this the first time that you shot Bianchi, or have you done it before?
Second time. I shot Bianchi in 2009 was my first year. I shot the inaugural year for production division. So for people who have never shot Bianchi Cup before, there are 3 divisions. You have your open division, which is fairly closely analogous to USPSA's open division. You're going to see guns that are compensated, guns with optics on them.
Right.
You're going to see the differences. They're going to be a lot heavier in Bianchi Cup because you want a very heavy gun. Makes it easier to hold out without disturbing the sights when you're aiming. There's going to be some weird parts on them like wings, so you can clamp them to the barricades.
Right.
And then you have your metallic division, which is almost a perfect analog for limited division, other than there's no major power factor. Everything in Bianchi Cup is scored to a 120 power factor. So if you want to talk about some cream puff bullets, you'll find them at Bianchi Cup. And then in 2009, they launched production division to try to draw new shooters to the sport. And it saw a lot of support from Glock, from Midway USA, Sig Sauer and some other big names signed up to sponsor the production division. And
obviously,
the inaugural winner in 2009 was Dave Zavini, and then in 2010 it was won by, I'm going to get this wrong, so I'm not going to say who won it in 2010, because I honestly don't remember. And then
some really good shooter.
This last year in 2011, Rob Leatham won production division.
Oh, did he?
Shooting,
I didn't know that. Okay.
Shooting an XD tactical 5-inch.
Wow.
And became the first person in the history of the Cup to have won open, metallic, and production all at separate times.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a neat experience to see him do that.
Now, I have a quick question about the Barricade. Everybody leans on the Barricade in open. They've got the trick gun designed specifically to be braced against the Barricade. Are there specifications that define how sturdy the Barricade is supposed to be?
For the actual Bianchi Cup, so the actual sanctioning body, it's called NRA Action Pistol. The Bianchi Cup's the name of the national championship here in the United States. The Barricades at the Bianchi Cup in Columbia, Missouri are very sturdy. They're bolted down into the ground. There's steel brackets that hold them in place. So the wobble in them is very minimal compared to what you would see on a Bianchi-style Barricade at an IDPA match or something like that.
Right.
If you shoot one of the regional action pistol championships, you're going to end up with a Barricade that moves a lot more than what you would see at the actual national championship match.
Because people will ask me about leaning on a Barricade, and I'll say, you'll see Barricades that aren't nailed down, so they're just rocking around. They're structural. They've been sitting out in the rain for 10 years, so they're all wobbly. But it seems to me if you have the expectation that you're going to rest your gun and clamp it to that Barricade, there's got to be some criteria that at the national championship dictates how sturdy it's going to be.
I'm not a very big guy, but hypothetically, of course, I could climb one of these Barricades and hang off it for a photo op, and it wouldn't move around at all.
So you were shooting production, though. So how do you deal with the Barricade in production? I mean, you obviously don't have the wings that you can put on the gun or any of that modifications. Do you try to... I mean, how do you manipulate the Barricade?
So for metallic and production division, you're not allowed to touch the Barricade with any part of your gun.
Okay.
But you can touch it with your hands. So a lot of the guys will wear a padded glove on their support hand, and when they're shooting around the right side of the Barricade, they're going to drive the knuckles of their support hand into the side of the Barricade to keep the gun stable, and they're shooting around the weak hand side of the Barricade. Again, this is for right-handed shooters, so if you're one of the southpaws out there,
just switch everything.
Flip what I'm saying. You're going to drive this part of your support hand into the Barricade to hold the gun up. Now, the problem with that technique is if you're like me and you had shot, say, I don't know, a Steel Challenge match a week before you came out to shoot Bianchi, you're not going to be able to teach yourself a brand new technique in the 2 or 3 days of practice time. So a lot of the shooters who come from USPSA or IDPA backgrounds will just shoot around the Barricade unsupported,
used to doing.
Just like we would do in an IDPA match.
Right.
I'm not going to try to learn how my gun's going to recoil off a Barricade in 2 days of practice time.
Right. And one of the things in terms of USPSA or IDPAs that we've always been told or taught is to don't touch the Barricade with your gun, because that will induce or can induce feed failures or the slide dragging the Barricade and or sometimes things bouncing back into the gun and stuff like that. So we've always pretty much been taught, don't use the Barricade. You can to a certain degree support your forearms with it, but don't let the gun come anywhere near in contact with it. So
Barricades in in Bianchi Cup versus IDPA or USPSA are very different, because again, those Bianchi Cup Barricades are bolted down with some serious hardware, whereas at an IDPA or USPSA match, it may be staked down if you're in an area that has bad weather and high wind. Otherwise, it might just be sitting there.
It's your standard Bianchi Barricade that somebody's built up with a frame bottom that they can drag around and move all over the place and whatever. So So you mentioned also Steel Challenge, and we'll do a Steel Challenge episode at a future date. We'll go through all about that. I'm actually really curious to hear about your experience with that, because there's been a couple clubs in this area that have been kind of trying to do startup Steel Challenge type matches, and it really looks actually pretty intriguing. Looks like a lot of fun. I love shooting steel. I know Rick doesn't shooting steel.
Not a big fan of shooting steel. But one of the clubs where we shoot on a regular basis just made all of the Steel Challenge steel down at Renton, so they should be having at least. I don't know if they're going to exactly the extent they're going to try to reproduce all the official stages, but they've made all of the plates, so we'll see.
And what's interesting about Steel Challenge matches is you have a lot of clubs that will do their steel matches each month, and they'll have 1 or 2 or maybe 3 of the official 8 steel challenge stages, and then they'll throw in some fun stuff, some
like
stuff that
a
they
plate
made
rack.
up, or a plate rack, or my personal nemesis, the Polish plate rack, which is just. If you've never seen a Polish plate rack, go to YouTube, type it in there. You'll see a video of Jerry Mitchell shooting it, which will just make you feel terrible about yourself. But for the rest of us mortals, it's the worst thing ever invented.
You actually, Rick, you shot that thing at Area 1 in
shot
Idaho
it.
and actually did really well on it.
One shot, one kill.
Yeah.
But then I watched a guy shooting it in open who just he let it spin. I mean, he shot it, and it intentionally, it seemed to me, unbalanced it, and it's spinning around like this, and plates are flying off as he's blasting away at it.
So do you think his strategy was to let it spin? Or
I don't know. I mean, when I shot it, I was like going clang, 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 trying to keep it balanced.
Right.
And this guy he just went like left to right, top to bottom, cleared the whole thing. He might have fired 2 or 3 extra shots, but I'm sure his time was probably half mine. And I had this strategy of, okay, stabilize it, shoot the upper right one, then the inside lower left one, and it worked. But I'm doing all these transitions like this, trying to my primary focus to keep it balanced so it didn't start spinning. And this guy apparently just said, the hell with it, and he's firing away and it's spinning around, and he's still blowing plates off. So it was kind of interesting to watch people shoot it.
like a spinning pinwheel.
So just to help, Polish plate rack is sort of like a Texas Star from hell. If you take 6 plates, you put 3 of them on the upper left.
Not that we're saying that Poland is like hell or anything like
right.
that.
Where did that name even come from?
I don't know. It's lovely this time of year from what I've heard.
Yeah, exactly. Never been.
But there's weights on it that if it tips too much, the weight will slip off
and then it goes
completely
the other way.
unbalanced.
And then it just goes, it's insane.
Yeah, it's fun.
Right.
Hi folks, Bob Main from the Handgun World Show. The reason I carry a gun is because I can't carry a cop. Just wanted to make a quick video here and let you know that I am teaming up with these guys here at the Power Factor Show. And as most of you know, just recently I put out an audio podcast recapping the events at the Double Tap Championship. Well, there's a lot more. And also there's some more information from close range gunfighting that I did a few weeks ago. So I've got more information from John Payne, from Suarez International, from Stephen Rick here at the Power Factor Show on my Shooters Club podcast. Now, as you know, this is a podcast that I've developed to help raise money for my show, for these guys here at the Power Factor Show, and for the Gun Rights Radio Network. Mark Vanderberg does such a great job with the Gun Rights Radio Network and bringing all of us podcasters together and everything. I want to support him, and I want to support his efforts. So your investment gives you a couple of hours of really good information. It will make you a better shooter. It will make you a lot better at defending yourself with your handgun. You'll get some good ideas. You'll get some dry fire practice ideas. You'll get some competition ideas, some mindset ideas for concealed carry, and a whole lot more. So the upcoming Shooters Club podcast features me. It features Stephen Rick from the Power Factor Show, a little bit from Suarez International's John Payne and close range gunfighting, and a few more things that I'm still working on that I'll be putting in there. So all you have to do is go to handgunworld.com, click the Shooters Club podcast link, and you'll see that it's version 3. It's probably going to come out around the 29th of June. And you're also going to get 1 ticket into the drawing. Now, we've got 5 winners set up so far. And what I'm doing is I'm giving away 3 Handgun World Show t-shirts. I'm also giving away a box of carry ammo, your choice, your caliber, your ammo. You just let us know. If you're the winner, let us know what you want to stoke your gun with, and we'll get you a box of that ammo. And then the grand prize is a $100 gift certificate to Cabela's. So, folks, there's a great chance for you to win something and get a couple of hours of really good information only for $25. Folks, $25 is not much of an investment when you're talking about tips that can help you shoot better and also help you save your life. So, once again, thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed the most recent episode with me and Stephen Rick talking to you from the range at the Double Tap Championship. Once again, the website is handgunworld.com, and just click the Shooters Club podcast link, and it'll give you instructions so you can make your investment and get your free ticket into the raffle drawing. Folks, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching this. I'm Bob Main from the Handgun World Show. The reason I carry a gun is because I can't carry a cop. Thanks.
So when you were shooting Bianchi, did you shoot rimfire also, or did you just stick with production? Because I know a lot of those people, they have the they shoot multiple divisions or whatever this is.
So at Bianchi Cup, a lot of guys will shoot metallic and open. Doug Koenig or Koenig, I can never get his name right. I'm really sorry, Doug. And Bruce Pyatt will usually shoot both divisions, even though they're set up to shoot the championship division. So when you go to register for Bianchi Cup, you'll pick one division as your championship division. And that's your official results.
Right.
So you can shoot production in metallic. If you pick production, then officially you're going to be competing for the production championship. And your metallic results are just gravy. I shot just production this year. It's kind of a weird match for USPSA guys because over the course of 3 days, you're only going to fire 192 rounds, which is not a lot. Each stage is only 48 rounds. You get done shooting and you're like, well, that was a great warm-up. I'm ready to go again, guys. But you only end up shooting just a little bit.
I'd go home and clean my gun at that point.
For the people that know me, who've been following GunNuts Media for a while and know my habits about cleaning guns, Bianchi Cup is the only match where I will religiously clean my gun. Every day, I will take it apart regardless if I fired 40. It's the only time of the year that this happens.
What drives that?
Paranoia. So,
is it dusty, or I mean, what's the...
The first year I shot Bianchi Cup in 2009, I was shooting a gun that was made by a manufacturer of 1911s that is well known for making a double action trigger for 1911s and an extractor for those 1911s that they refer to as a power extractor.
And they used to be located in a different country than this country, but they've since moved to the United States, but we're not naming any names.
No, we're not. Okay. So hypothetically, in 2009 with this gun, the power extractor failed to power extract and had a really awesome, and I remember staring over my rear sight at a really awesome stovepipe in the middle of a stage and thinking, well, that's a lot of points. And had some issues with the light double action trigger as well. So that prompted me to be extremely paranoid this year when shooting my very reliable
light double action, the LDA trigger.
The LDA,
yeah, just double action.
Right, it's a very easy. But this year I shot a Sig Sauer P250, which is DA only. The reason I shot that was it's very similar to the revolvers I've been shooting in terms of trigger pull. But because of my previous experiences with other guns that may have been manufactured in Canada, I decided to be extremely religious about cleaning my 250 this year. And regardless of how many rounds I fired that day, it would go back to the hotel room, and at the very least, the extractor would get some very special attention to make sure it was nice and clean.
Is that the modular one, the 250?
Yeah,
you take it apart, put different size frames on it.
Yeah, some people really don't like it, and some people, it's kind of one of those guns where if you either love it or you hate it. And for people who are used to shooting revolvers, it's a really great system. If you're used to a very short reset, like you're going to find on a 1911 or a Glock or something like that, the reset on the 250 takes a lot of work to get used to, but it is far more accurate than it has any business being. With match ammo, we were shooting it out to 50 yards and holding 2-inch groups off sandbags, which is, for a polymer framed gun, you look at it and you go, really? You just did that?
Yeah. So one of the other projects that you've been involved in is your podcast that you have, which actually hasn't been on or even released any new episodes since the end of Top Shot. So I actually been listening to, I listened to all those, but I was listening to them before
right on.
You did that. So when can we expect some more of those?
We're actually coming back on Thursday, I gotta do some counting in my head, the last Thursday in June. We're going to have, which, you may have already listened to it by the time you see me saying this, but we're coming back with an interview with Pete Brownells from Brownells.
Yeah,
talking about Brownell's decision to get into reselling to
Boy, do I have a lot of stock in that company.
I think anybody who's ever shot more than 2 or 3 USPSA matches has spent a lot of money with Brownells.
Yeah.
But we're coming back with that.
Use and recommend Brownells.
Yeah, actually, not just saying that, but I mean, seriously, all my parts come from Brownells.
Just about everything you need, you can get right there.
So, it's if I can't find it from, obviously I'm very loyal to my sponsor, Cheaper Than Dirt, but if I can't find it from there, the very next address I type into my browser is brownells.com, because generally, Cheaper Than Dirt's great for finding, ammo and some other stuff, but if I need, a 1911 widget that 2 different companies in the world make.
Yeah.
Brownells probably has
The other
it.
good thing with Brownells, not to divert discussion too far in that direction, but also their association with Sinclair. Recently, I ordered some stuff. I've been getting more involved in shotgun shooting, so I ordered like a powder bar from Sinclair and parts to fix my STI from Brownells all in the same package. So it was great. I mean,
Everything just shows up all at once.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was nice. So anyway,
Yeah, the SIG that I've been shooting in single stack is wearing a set of Techwell USA, the TGO grips, which are from Brownells. So pretty much everything.
So in terms of the Top Shot thing, I know that they are actually filming Top Shot season, what is this, 3? Technically 3,
4,
right?
I think.
3 is, so...
3's in the bag,
Three's
right?
actually,
Three's
three's being done right
almost in the
now.
bag.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So are you doing the quote-unquote exit interviews, or planning to do the exit interviews again for this year like you did last year?
The plan is to do the exit interviews for season 3. So for the people who haven't seen it before, go to blogtalkradio.com/GunNutsRadio. And that is my podcast. We've done several seasons. We talked Top Shot Season 1, Top Shot Season 2.
I know somebody was in Top Shot Season 1.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
I heard that guy's not very nice, though.
He's a rat face.
He is! What a terrible guy.
Yeah.
I'm expecting somebody to spell Ratfink on the behind us here with.
If we were just, you guys were discussing earlier the skills of your producer. If I don't see Ratfink back here when I watch this episode on YouTube, I'm going to be really disappointed.
With arrows.
Oh,
Like,
it's perfect. But we did exit interview survey from Top Shot Season 2. We plan on doing the same thing for Season 3. We're talking to History Channel about it right now.
Good.
So that's something you do in conjunction with them.
With absolutely,
coordinate
yeah.
that to get those guys.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts of last season, was listening to the exit interviews on
Yeah.
our show. I mean,
Yeah.
I would enjoy watching the show, but everybody suspects what's going on behind the scenes, and to hear those guys talk about it to the extent that they do, I think is at least as entertaining as watching the show, seeing their insights into stuff that they have no control over during
yeah.
the show, and the comments are always really great.
I listen to it in my hot tub. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Rick, how's it going?
What I would do is I'd download your program, and I'd go out and wherever. I remember your interview with Jay.
Oh my
I was like,
gosh.
wait a minute, the police just showed up. Hold on for a minute. Yeah.
We need to talk about that interview with Jay.
Yeah, that was
Well,
rather interesting.
we could do episodes about your interviews with people who are on Top Shot.
Right.
Well, and it's funny
The
because
real dirt.
Yeah, the real dirt on the real dirt.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'd be like a tabloid version.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. We could be the TMZ for the gun community.
All the news is not fit to print. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so what's in store for, say, the next 2 or 3 episodes that are going to be kind of based on your experiences as they differ from Steve and I?
Well, we're definitely going to take a look at Bianchi Cup. Obviously, we've talked about it a little bit tonight, some of the different things that you can expect as a shooter, but we're going to go down into the 4 distinct stages of Bianchi Cup, how to prepare if you're an IDPA or a USPSA shooter that wants to make the crossover and get a crack at the ridiculous prize money for production. Ridiculous. Go shoot it.
How ridiculous was it?
I finished I barely cracked the top half, and I got a check for a couple $100.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So, lots of prize money for production division at Bianchi Cup, and we're going to go into that. We'll go into Good Guns for production division, some of the top guys, what they're shooting as well. We're going to take a look at
What
steel
about the
check.
top women shooting?
There are not a lot of women shooting production, actually.
Really?
Interestingly enough, the top women shooters in Bianchi Cup mostly are sticking to open division. Julie Golub, Jessie Abbott, Vera Koo are all the big 3 names in Bianchi Cup, and they all shot open. Obviously, Randy Rogers from Team Glock did shoot production.
Right.
But an interesting aside about Bianchi Cup is that there's no women's production champion, unlike all the other shooting sports where you're gonna have
An inside joke you're rolling in on.
I'm just gonna keep talking and pretend I didn't see anything. Unlike all the other shooting sports where there's a women's production champion and a women's limited champion, Bianchi Cup only recognizes a women's champion.
So highest score across the different divisions.
Across the different divisions, is a woman. So that's why all the top female shooters are going to be shooting open.
Because they can't be the overall champ shooting production.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We're also
Predictable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're also going to take a look at Steel Challenge, which is, in my opinion, the most fun shooting sport out there, and also the easiest to get into. If you've got a .22 caliber pistol and a $30 Tasco red dot, you can actually go out and be competitive in Steel Challenge right now. So we're going to take a look at that, the 8 traditional stages, as well as some fun ways to get into that, and then just a whole bunch of other fun stuff, including 3-gun, which I actually don't know anything about, but I've got a bunch of rifles and shotguns.
Well,
so
you have more experience than Rick and I do, and we've actually had quite a few requests from listeners about doing 3-gun episodes, and we're all like, well, that'd be great, but, you know, I've shot about 3-gun.
Yeah,
and
I haven't shot 3-gun. I think
yeah.
I mentioned, or I spoke earlier, that I had shot some 3-gun for a few years, but I don't think I've shot a match in 5 years.
Well, here's what we can do for the 3-gun episode. We'll challenge our producer skills. You guys remember Star Wars, where there's the hologram of Princess Leia?
Sure.
I'll get my buddy Ian.
Do we have laser pistols?
No, I'll get my buddy Ian from Crimson Trace on the phone. He's a champion 3-gun shooter, and we'll just have our producer project a hologram of him right here
There you go.
while we talk, and it'll look like a live interview with a hologram of Ian. It'll be great.
Right.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Exactly.
Obi-Wan Kenobi? Yeah. That would be cool. Okay, high tech.
So you
Love
do
high
cowboy
tech.
action shooting too, right?
What's that?
No.
What was that?
I've got a Ruger Vaquero, but I don't think I've fired around it. I haven't fired a shot in cowboy action shooting since
So you have done it.
I have. It was almost 10 years ago, which I don't have a lot of years, but 10 is a lot even for me.
You were, what, like 15 at that time?
Close enough.
So we're definitely expanding.
Yes.
Expanding. I mean,
Yeah.
when we started the show, it was essentially USPSA, IDPA, and thanks to Caleb, we're going to really expand that and improve the quality of the show, the content of the show.
Speaking of which, we've got our new microphones here, so hopefully we're not
Yeah, we
dropping
do.
out.
How do we sound?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
If we sound great, give us a 5-star review on iTunes.
And Caleb's using a wireless mic. We're still waiting for one last voice recorder here, so hopefully you didn't cut out when you said
Luke, I am your father.
We just take a moment to thank the people who have pressed that contribution button on our website.
It was because of you guys.
We have the new audio.
Exactly.
I mean, we have been struggling with audio almost since day one, and we've fiddled around with microphones and stuff, and I think we've hopefully the audio is really good, and we're going forward, the audio is going to be great. So thanks for those contributions. We're raking all that stuff back into the show, and hopefully you're hearing and seeing the benefits of that.
Right.
Anything else?
So obviously, it looks like we have a lot of really great things coming in the future. So hope you guys will tune in and catch those episodes. So
if you want to contact us, comments, helpful suggestions, send us an email at powerfactorshow@gmail.com or
the website at Power. I should let you do it.
No. You can do the website. I'll do Facebook.
Yeah.
Right.
Capable of doing Facebook. So Power Factor Show I'm sorry, that was the powerfactorshow.com.
Or facebook.com/powerfactorshow. And if you have hate mail, you can send it to me at caleb@gunnutsmedia.com because I love getting hate mail.
Do you need to mention your sponsors or anything?
No, we're good tonight. Just, hey, if you guys want an awesome belt like the one I've been wearing all night tonight, Safari Land. There you go.
Yeah, and Safari Land is now a sponsor of our program, so yeah, great stuff. I mean, like we were saying before, we've used it before in the past, and we'll continue using it in the future. And it really doesn't matter whether they do or don't sponsor us. We really believe in the product, so
absolutely.
All right. Okay, thanks for tuning in, and check back soon for the episode on Bianchi and Steel Challenge.
Thank you.
Okay, so we also have a contest to announce. Safari Land has given us a certificate to give away to one lucky viewer. Certificate's right here. We're going to see how good our producer is. Right? It's right here.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're going to see how really good it is. Ready? Track that look. Okay. So the way you can enter the contest is that between this episode and the end of July, which I believe is July 31st, according to my calendar. How about your calendar?
Could be.
Maybe.
I don't have my phone.
Right, yeah. So if you go to our Facebook page at Facebook at Power Factor Show, or you can also get there.
Somebody's indicating you screwed it up.
Or you can get there. Well, I know the easy way to get there is to go to the website powerfactorshow.com and click the Facebook link there. That'll work.
That's the easy way.
Yeah, that's the easiest way.
Yeah, so do that.
Yeah. So if you go to that and like us, or if you go to iTunes and leave us a positive review there, you'll get in for the drawing also. We're going to basically take everybody who has already gone to Facebook and liked us, and everybody else who has already gone to iTunes and leave us a review. That you're automatically will be entered, so you're not going to be excluded or anything like that.
So anybody who's ever liked us up through the end of July is eligible.
I don't like you.
Well, I'm just saying.
I'm not eligible.
I'm just saying. Every person who's liked us is eligible,
right?
As long as they get in before the end of July.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So vote early and vote often.
And well, I don't know about vote often. Yeah, right.
I never had
Chicago
never
politics,
had me beg
right.
to Facebook.
Right. Yeah, and neither have I, as you can tell, because apparently I blew the.
That the indication is that you blew the Addy,
which actually I think is a badge of honor since I've never been there.
Right.
So at any rate, so it'll be
just
a certificate for your choice of holster, whatever you want.
And if you can name the movie reference.
To
obscures what you said, badge of honor, and I said just the facts.
Oh, okay.
So name that movie, and maybe we'll give you an extra entry into the drawing,
like a mag pouch or something.
As a special bonus from Rick.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it. Thanks. Get your stuff in.